30+ years, it has produced a legacy unique in all of sports. Athletes who have sacrificed their bodies, unlike in any other competition. Today, 5 more take on the challenge through a series of events that will test and scrutinize their brute strength, their resolve, their will to win. Welcome to the 2019 Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man. Bradenton, Florida, a hidden jewel on Florida's west coast. A community that takes great pride in its long-standing commitment to preservation. A commitment validated by its beautiful beaches, shores, and its beautiful nature-laden parks. Brent Stover alongside 2-time All-American and Super Bowl champion with the Packers. It's Aaron Taylor. Soon, 5 more, the top athletes from around the world, will begin their quest for this year's World's Strongest Man final, but only 2 will gain entry.
Well, 2 of the 5 of this year's group made it to the final last year in the Philippines, but with slightly disappointing results. Robert Oberst from the United States and Konstantine Janashia from the country of Georgia finished 8th and 9th respectively. Both are looking not only to get back to this year's final, but to make a legitimate push for this year's crown.
All right, Oberst and Janashia about to take on the monster truck pull, but they're going to have to compete against some very good athletes. Let's learn more about them in our Tachi Power Profiles.
Robert Oberst, USA. Strong and pretty. I've been training with Eddie Hall and Brian Shaw. So almost the entire offseason, I've been training with 2 of the strongest men in the history of the world. But this is world's strongest man, so you come to bang, come to bang. If you can't pick it up, then go home. I'm ready to line it up. We need people to stand up and be strong, and we need people to show that hard work is still the way you get what you want in this life. The American dream's not gone, and I feel a lot of responsibility just holding that on my shoulders.
Konstantine Janashia from Georgia.
I love Janashia. That's my boy. I'm a Texas redneck and he's a Georgian redneck.
Eating more, training more, new program systems, everything is changed. Maybe it's good results.
He's strong, very well-rounded. He doesn't have any holes in his game.
It's good.
Andreas Ståhlberg, Sweden. My dad competed in strongman in the 80s and 90s. He was the Finland's strongest man, so he's kind of the reason I started, you know, because I want to be like Dad. Maybe we are a little bit crazy, all who competes in strongman. The plan is to do my life's best competition. I'm injury-free, I'm in the best shape of my life, and I hope that's going to be enough.
Sigfus Fossdal, Iceland. I'm 36 now. My childhood friends from grade school found an advertising for Olympic lifting when we were 13, where that was the first time I said I'm going to the World's Strongest Man one day. That was 20 years ago. I never quit, and I'm here.
Adam Bishop, Great Britain, the plucky Brit. I've had a huge kind of change in my mental aspect to how I'm approaching the sport. Got myself working with a sports psychologist. And that's the kind of biggest shift. I think it's kind of my self-belief now, where I'm looking to be kind of relentless, attacking, dominant, effectively creating a second mindset for me of how I present myself to not just the other competitors, but myself. For us, the pinnacle of our sport is being crowned World's Strongest Man.
Hello.
With Eddie retiring as well, there is a big hole within British strongman that needs to be filled. I feel that I'm the guy to be doing that.
What an incredible field of athletes in Group 2. They are here in downtown Bradenton, ready to take on their first event, the Monster Jam Truck Pull.
And Brent, this brutal test of strength requires some serious leg drive, bicep, and shoulder power, along with some coordination, as our athletes pulled a pair of Monster Jam trucks weighing a total of 25,000 pounds down the 22-meter course.
Konstantine Janashia, 28 years of age, nicknamed the Georgian Bull, because he's got the largest traps in the world. I don't know that we can confirm that, but that's what they say. His traps are pretty darn big.
You remember the old cartoons where you see the Brahma bull where they've got muscles on top of muscles?
Yeah.
Take a look behind Janashia's neck. That's what he looks like. Little bit of a herky-jerky start, not as coordinated as you like, but he's in a nice rhythm now. Remember, this is an event in last year's final where Janashia struggled.
He gained 41 pounds from last year to this year. He was at 334 last year, 375 now, and this is his 4th trip to the world's strongest man.
This is an event that favors the bigger men. Mass matters when you're pulling 25,000 pounds of truck. So that's a good move by Janashia, and it appears to be working.
The Georgian bull, Konstantine Janashia, trying to get the 2 Monster Jam trucks to the finish, and he does, stopping the clock at 50.41 and setting the early time to beat here in group number 2 in event number 1.
Great effort here by Janashia. The weight that he put on in the offseason really seeming to make a difference. It's just a repetitive motion, one after another. The Georgian bull bringing his best.
Sigfus Fossdal from Iceland. He's been doing strongman for a long time, and finally, at the age of 36, 2 decades after he began this sport, he gets to the best stage, the world's strongest man.
These guys work their entire lives to get ready for these moments. You cannot undersell just how important this event and being here at all is for Fossdal. Really nice rhythm here. He's got a good body lean. His legs are short, choppy steps, but with some power, and I really like his coordination.
He's got a nice rhythm here. 50.41 is the time to beat, set by Konstantine Janashia.
Starting to slow down here.
And now losing his balance, but regains it. And that's it, and he goes down in a heap, Aaron, and he might be injured here.
That didn't look good.
Okay.
It looked sudden, and that's never good, regardless of the sport. When a big man that powerful and strong goes down and you hear that emotion he just let out there, keep an eye on that left leg. Boom, right there, something happens and Fossdal goes down.
Not nearly the debut he was looking for. Looks like the left foot, he's not putting any pressure on it. Stay tuned for the 3 remaining athletes when we come back to the Hitachi Palace World's Strongest Man, presented by Rogue. And welcome back to the Hitachi Palace World's Strongest Man in downtown Bradenton, where Group 2's first event is underway, the Monster Jam Truck Pull. So far, 2 athletes have competed. Janashia in the lead, completing the task in a time of 50.41. Fossdal unable to finish the pull, 21.2 meters, and he was helped off the course. So 3 athletes left, beginning with Sweden's Andreas Ståhlberg.
Ståhlberg's a rookie, but his 6'4", 364-pound frame should help him trying to move a load this big.
29 years of age. Part-time strongman, owns a gym as well, and he's an orderly at an institute for the mentally ill. Got a lot going on, and he's got a lot going on behind him right here.
Yeah, he does. I really like this start. Good, strong pull to get these trucks past their initial inertia. Really nice pace here for Ståhlberg. If he can keep this up, it's going to be a nice finish. But this is the point in the course where it starts to get a little tricky.
50.41 is the time to beat, but he's got bigger fish to fry than just the time. I don't know if he's going to get this thing to the line.
This isn't just about strength. This is about your willingness to endure pain. He is starving for oxygen right now. His muscles giving him everything they've got.
He does get it across. Right there in 54.30 to move into second place. And collapses with oxygen deprivation.
Time of 54.30 seconds, representing Sweden, Andreas Ståhlberg.
But you saw that smile there at the end, Brent. He did bonk at the end, kind of loses his balance, starts to drift a little bit, struggling to find the rope. But he found a way to get himself across the line, and that's admirable.
Representing Great Britain, Adam Bishop.
Adam Bishop, his fourth World's Strongest Man appearance from Linford, England, representing Great Britain.
The young man they call Bish has never made the final. He is hungry.
He's been close, but hasn't been able to make the final, as you mentioned. Time to beat in this first event for Group 2 is 50.41, set by Georgia's Konstantine Janashia.
Really interesting start there for Adam Bishop. Had a nice wide base. But what I like about it is he's brought his base back in. Nice coordinated movements. His feet are choppy, but they're moving faster than he's moving the trucks down the course. He's got to be able to maintain this. This goes beyond the strength. His hallmarks are speed and explosiveness, but he's going to need some endurance here at the end.
Needing oxygen. 50.41 is that mark. Trying to get to the finish of this course. Adam Bishop. Fellow countryman and competitor Luke Ståhlberg just off the course, imploring him to get to the finish.
Remember a year ago in the Philippines, finished third in his group, a mere one spot outside of what was necessary to qualify. He would love to get this truck across. It's so close.
Still not there, the time minute of 1:15. And Bishop was able to get it 21.90 and goes into third place.
You can't get any closer than that. Bishop, after the nice start and a good rhythm, just bonked out at the end. And the near misses and close calls continue for the competitive Brit.
Representing the United States, Robert Oberst.
Big OB, Robert Oberst from the United States. Lives in Texas. And he looks the part of a strong man and a big bullish guy that's a former O-lineman like yourself. He's had injury troubles in recent years after a really hot start in his rookie campaign at World's Strongest Man. His girlfriend Megan cheering him on from the sidelines.
OB's looking pretty good here. Put on 34 pounds since last year. Mass matters in this event. Put on that weight to help him specifically for things like the Monster Jam Truck Bowl, and he's got a chance to beat that 50.41 time set by Janashia if he can keep this up.
Always stands pretty straight up. Not a lot of leg bend in these events, but it doesn't seem to be hurting him at all in this event.
Lower body strength has really kind of been his nemesis, but the bulked up weight seems to have made a difference. He's going to be so close here to beating that time.
And just off of Janashia's 50.41. That's as close to a photo finish as you're going to get in this particular event. So Oberst immediately wants to know what the time was. I think overall he's going to be pleased, though he just got beat out in this first event of the group. He gets second behind that man, the Georgian bull. Konstantine Janashia wins the Monster Jam Truck Pull, trying to make his fourth appearance in the final. So he barely edges out Oberst, who comes in second. Newcomer Ståhlberg in third. Fossdal has to withdraw with a ruptured Achilles. Here's Jenny Dell with head ref Magnus for Magnuson.
All right, Magnus, four-time world's strongest man right here. Now head referee. What's the biggest challenge in your position?
Well, the biggest challenge is, of course, not to make any mistakes. And I'm pretty close to perfect.
So when you were an athlete coming into a competition like this, the world's strongest man, tell me what it's like.
You sleep it, you dream it, you live it, you breathe it. And all you want to do is win that big title. And I got lucky a couple of times.
How have you seen strongman evolve over the years?
All these guys now are specially trained as strongmen. In my days, I didn't have a set of stones to train on, but now they got all the equipment, they train on it. This is a full-time thing.
All right, we have our 4-time world's strongest man right here. We're gonna go to break, and when we come back, lots more competition coming your way.
Welcome back to the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man presented by Rogue. Downtown Bradenton, Group 2, set to begin their second event, the Giants Medley.
Giants Medley indeed, Brent. This event starts off with a farmer's walk where our athletes will carry 2 logs weighing a total of 660 pounds, and then carry 2 super yokes weighing a combined 2,320 pounds down the 21-meter course.
Oberst.
First 2 guys to go, Robert Oberst, the heaviest in the group at 410 pounds, against the lightest in the group, Adam Bishop, who checks in at 313. He's in 4th after one event.
See, Bishop there was opening and closing his hands. The limiting factor on this first event in the farmer's walk is grip strength. With that much weight in their hands, it can sometimes feel like knives in the palms of their hands. But Brent, this is just a warm-up, getting these guys ready for the 1,325-pound super yoke that's waiting on him.
And it's pretty much a dead heat. Bishop a slight advantage into the 3rd apparatus.
That's an incredible amount of weight. Dropping it doesn't discount it. You just got to get it across the line, and Bishop does first.
A cartoonish looking event, and these guys make it look relatively easy as Bishop takes the early lead, edging out Robert Oberst, the American.
Bishop's got to be super happy about that effort, especially being so light. And there's Robert Oberst, big smile on his face, but he's currently second, but that time was well behind Bishop's. Bishop just looked smooth throughout this whole event. He was relaxed, focused, and his technique was spot on, which led him to the win.
And he's standing by with Jenny Dell.
Quite a bit of success this past year. Kind of take us through what it's been like over the last year.
Yeah, so last year was a bit disappointing for me, just missing the final. It really kind of lit a fire on me to get going, so worked really hard. Got my 3rd place at the World Tour Finals over in the UK, and then got 2nd place at Britain's this year, so yeah, kind of just on a roll a little bit, so long may it continue.
You consider yourself what you call a strength nerd. Explain that to us.
Well, my day-to-day job is a strength and conditioning coach, so I work with rugby players, and I'm a big student in the game, so I love trying to get the guys I work with and myself a little bit stronger. I try lots of different things out of my training. Yeah, I love all my numbers to be perfect.
How does that training play into an event like this?
Yeah, that completely goes out the window when you're faced with a 600-kilo yoke, so yeah, that was just kind of brute force and trying to bite down and go hard on it.
Great job out there.
Cheers, thank you.
With Fossdal withdrawing and standout times from Bishop and Oberst, will the task be too tall for our final 2 competitors? Group 2's Giants Medley battle continues on the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, presented by Rogue.
The 2019 Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Tachi Palace Hotel and Casino in Lemoore, California. And by Rogue. Don't weaken.
Welcome back to the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man. The athletes of Group 2 continue their second event, the Giants Medley. 2 athletes have already competed. Bishop currently with a time to beat at 27:60, and 2 athletes remain. It's the Georgian Bull against Steel Mountain. Andreas Ståhlberg is Steel Mountain, and Janashia is the Georgian Bull. This is a heavyweight matchup.
Janashia is the leader after one event, and along with the deadlift, the super yoke and farmer's walks are the event that he's most confident in. So Ståhlberg's going to have his hands full.
Janashia weighs in at 375, Ståhlberg 364.
660-pound logs, not a factor for those big old traps. And look at that transition. Right there, the Georgian Bull likely wins this event.
That was the spot, Aaron. Now if he can just finish it off on these 3rd apparatus. 27:60, the time to beat. He's got a bobble there, and now it's in jeopardy. And he's not going to win the event. The Georgian Bull gets it across in 29:44, but he will have to settle for 2nd.
Seeing Ståhlberg there, 1,325 pounds, probably not a factor for Ståhlberg, but when you have to walk it and carry it forward, it's a whole different ballgame.
47:04 is where he stops the clock. Konstantine Janashia settles for second in a time of 29.44 seconds. Andreas Ståhlberg of Sweden takes fourth in the Giants medley.
He says thank you as we take a look at Janashia here, just picking him up and putting him down, pushing through that punishing pain of 1,325 pounds, and he gets it done.
Representing Great Britain, Adam Bishop.
So Great Britain's Adam Bishop wins event number 2, the Giants medley, for group number 2 in 27:60. Janashia of Georgia took second, Oberst in third, Ståhlberg coming in fourth. Remember, this group is down to 4 competitors due to Sigfus Fossdal's earlier injury. That second place finish was enough to keep Janashia on top of the standings with 9 points. Bishop and Oberst tied for second with 7 points each. Ståhlberg currently in fourth. Keep in mind, the leader after 4 events automatically qualifies for the final. Next time on the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man. After 2 events, only 2 points separate first and second. Will Georgia's Konstantine Janashia hold on to his slim lead and automatically qualify for the final? Or will Bishop or Oberst step up to the challenge and overtake him? Last time on the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man. Group 2 began their qualifying round for this year's final in dramatic fashion in a truck pull for the ages. Then came the Giants medley, where some of the strongest men on earth took on an unprecedented 1,325-pound super yoke. Now 3 men are within striking distance of advancing to this year's final, but only 2 will move on. We find out who next. Welcome to the 2019 Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man. Bradenton, Florida, an oasis of sand and sunshine on Florida's west coast. Brent Stover alongside former 2-time All-American and Super Bowl champion, it's Aaron Taylor. Today, the top 2 men out of group number 2 will advance into the World's Strongest Man final. And Aaron, at this point, it's shaping up to be a battle among 3 men.
It certainly is. And those 3 men are Konstantine Janashia from Georgia, currently the group's leader, Robert Oberst from the United States, and Adam Bishop from Great Britain, who are both currently tied for second. All 3 with great starts here. Janashia edged out Oberst in dramatic fashion by just 36/100ths of a second in a very awesome Monster Jam truck pull. Then came Adam Bishop of Great Britain, who conquered event 2, the Giants medley, and its redonkulous 1,300-pound super yoke.
Like you said, 3 great starts, but again, only the top 2 out of this group advance into the World's Strongest Man final. And after event number 4, the leader in the group, he automatically gets in. Then the men in second and third place go head-to-head in a last man standing event. It's a stone off, and the winner of that gets the second spot out of the group into the final.
An electric crowd greeted our strongmen here at Coquina Beach for Group 2's 3rd event, the Monster Jam Speedster Deadlift, where our athletes were asked to lift a pair of speedsters with a combined weight of 825 pounds as many times as possible in 60 seconds.
Let's see how they fared.
Deadlift is one of my favorites. The type they've chosen, car deadlift, I like that. It's something new, but it's still my thing, so I'm not worried at all.
They've got 60 seconds to get as many reps as possible. Let's see what our second group has in store. Representing Sweden, Andreas Ståhlberg.
I'm actually the only guy here this week who represents Sweden, so it means actually a lot. It's a big thing.
Representing the United States, Robert Oberst.
My biggest weakness has always been deadlift. It's no surprise, everybody knows.
Strong and pretty!
I've worked really hard. Finding out how to actually pull properly. I've got a lot of tips. The greatest deadlifter of all time has been helping me, Eddie Hall.
Oh, hello.
You know, I'm not gonna win the deadlift, but you know, if I get one rep, that'd be the best I've ever done.
Thank you! That's a PR for World Strongest Man, too. I'll see you in the finals.
I'm tied for second right now. That was a PR for World's Strongest Man for me. I could have pulled that 4 or 5 more times, maybe got 1 more point, but that 1 point, it's not gonna mean anything. What means something is me feeling good for the log, feeling good for that stone, and going in the finals ready to get better, so.
Representing Georgia, Konstantine Janashia.
Janashia, many will regard as the favorite for this group.
I love Janashia. That's my boy. I'm a Texas redneck and he's a Georgian redneck. He's strong, very well-rounded. He doesn't have any holes in his game.
When it comes to World's Strongest Man, it's more than ever like a team sport for us because we're kind of all rooting for each other and, you know, ultimately we're all fans of the sport. We want to see guys do crazy things and go as fast as possible, lift as heavy as possible and see something special.
Our new leader in Group 2 with 10 reps in the deadlift. Representing Georgia, Konstantine Janashia. Representing Great Britain, Adam Bishop.
Keep going, Bash! Bishop, he's been at this game for a long time, and he's actually a strength coach. If you watch for technical sound lifting, Bish is the guy to watch, always. When it's deadlift for reps, he pulls it out. I don't know how, because it's not like he's heavy. It's not like he's got this huge upper back. He just does it and does it well.
One more, Bash!
The winner of the deadlift with 11 reps, Adam Bishop.
You know, I'm not the biggest guy out here by a long way, so I have to make sure that my technique on all events is bang on. We'll make sure everything's perfect. So I needed 2 event wins, and that's what I've done. It's big for me, so yeah, we're on a roll.
Great Britain's Adam Bishop takes first with 11 reps. Konstantine Janashia lagged just behind with 10. Andreas Ståhlberg falls third with 6. Oberst takes last place, just 1 rep. Janashia keeps his lead in the standings with 13 points. Bishop's win in the deadlift puts him 1 point off the lead with 12. Oberst in third with 9. Ståhlberg just behind with 8. Here's Jenny Dell.
After the break, the overhead press. Our strongmen will take this log, lift it overhead, and place it back down as many times as possible in 75 seconds. But with a weight of 340 pounds, which athlete will press his way into the final? Find out next at the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man.
Welcome back to Anna Maria Island's Coquina Beach, where Group 2 is set to begin their 4th event, the overhead press.
Well, this one's pretty simple, Brent. Our strongmen are going to lift a log overhead that weighs 340 pounds. The most reps and the fastest time wins with an overall time limit of 75 seconds.
First matchup is Robert Oberst, the American.
Robert
6'7", 410, resides in Texas, 34 years of age. And he goes up against Andreas Ståhlberg of Sweden, 6'4", 364, 29 years of age. He's in 4th after 3 events. He's got to make up ground, and he's got to start right here.
Oberst didn't fare very well in the deadlift, but this is by far his best event. I expect him to do well here. He is just raw power as we see him lock out easily that first rep there on the right.
Ståhlberg on your left, Oberst on the right. They each get the first one relatively easy. Oberst has the early advantage, and now Ståhlberg locks out his second.
You see OB there, got a slightly wider stance, a little bit of a knee lift, but it literally is all upper body power from the shoulders for big OB.
Each man with 3 reps. Great crowd on the beach here in Florida. Supporting especially the American Robert Oberst, who's got the slight advantage. Ståhlberg struggling to get his 4th. And now OB at 5. Ståhlberg gets his 4th.
And OB checking to see how many Ståhlberg has. He's got 4. Remember, this is Ståhlberg's first appearance. OB feeling the crowd, though. He wants to keep going.
Incredible back drop. And Oberst! Beautifully done with 6. Now he's going to watch again to see what Ståhlberg does. There's 5. And Oberst is content here as the clock winds down. Both men will end at this juncture. So Oberst with 6, Ståhlberg 5, and good sportsmanship.
See why OB is one of the favorite athletes here, giving Ståhlberg some love there.
So Ståhlberg will begin in second, the overhead press, 5 reps. 6 for Oberst in 59.34.
Easy.
Coming up, the automatic entry into the final within reach. Can Great Britain's Adam Bishop lift himself to the top, or will Georgia's Janashia push through? Next on the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, presented by Rogue. And we're back at Coquina Beach to continue Group 2's 4th event, the overhead press. 2 athletes have already competed. Oberst leads with 6 reps in a time of 59.34. Ståhlberg trails with 5 reps in a time of 105.87. 2 athletes remain. Adam Bishop of Great Britain from Linford, England, in second place in the group. Konstantine Janashia, the Georgian bull from the country of Georgia. He's the group leader after 3 events.
Now keep in mind, Brent, whoever wins this will win the group and get that automatic qualification to the final and avoid the dreaded last man standing. There's a lot riding on this head-to-head competition right here.
Just to clarify, Bishop just got 1 rep, so he's good to go in terms of qualifying for the last man standing. And Janashia just needs to beat Bishop right here head-to-head to get the automatic bid into the final and sit out the last man standing.
And Bishop made that second attempt but doesn't get credit for it. He's clarifying, hey, did I get that 1 rep?
So he seems to be giving up the win in the event to Janashia, knowing full well that he's clinched a spot in the last man standing. And Janashia, 2 ahead of Bishop in terms of reps here, knows he just has to beat Bishop to qualify for the final right here.
Bishop talked about wanting to change his mindset, be more strategic. That's exactly what we're seeing here because he knew there was a very small chance he was going to outpress Janashia.
And Janashia now, the crowd wants him to keep going and expend energy, but he has essentially already punched his ticket for the final out of this group. But just for good measure to give him a show, he throws up that 5th rep.
It's hard to resist the temptation and cheers of the crowd here in Bradenton. They have been outstanding as Janashia gets credit for his 6th rep.
And will finish second in the event because Oberst got 6 in a better time. But the bottom line for the Georgian bull, with that result, he is qualified for the World's Strongest Man final, and Adam Bishop finishes 4th in this event, and he has qualified for the last man standing event. Konstantine Janashia, 6 reps in 114.97.
Pressing power, not a problem for the Georgian bull. He's got all those extra traps up there around his neck, and he uses them here beautifully to move on.
Here's Jenny Dell.
Konstantine, this is your 4th final in 4 appearances. What does it mean for you to be going back to the final?
I'm very happy because 4 years I'm final and finals is good events for me, and we'll see.
So good events in the final. What's your goal this year?
I don't know, we'll see, because it's very strong athletes here. This is strongman. I don't know what's it. It's the final, you know. I try.
You'll try.
Yeah.
All right. Congratulations on going to the final, Konstantine.
Thank you very much.
Oberst and Janashia tied at 6 reps, but Oberst got it done faster. Janashia takes second, Ståhlberg in third, Bishop lags behind, only 1 rep in a 106.30. So Janashia stays in first with 17 points, wins the automatic berth in the final as the leader after 4 events. Oberst and Bishop both tied in points. Oberst's better result in the overhead press gives him the 2nd spot and the advantage in last man standing. Ståhlberg in 4th. With Janashia becoming the 3rd athlete to qualify for the final, Bishop and Oberst face off to see who gets the next final spot. The last man standing coming up on the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, presented by Rogue.
The 2019 Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Tachi Palace Hotel and Casino in Lemoore, California. And by Rogue. Don't weaken.
We are here at Manatee Public Beach, where Group 2's Robert Oberst and Adam Bishop will go head-to-head for a spot in the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man final in the group's ultimate event, Last Man Standing.
Ultimate event is right, Brent, because this is head-to-head competition at its finest, because 2 athletes are competing for just 1 spot in the final by lifting a 400-pound Atlas stone over a 4.5-foot bar. Now, there is a 20-second time limit, so speed, efficiency, and endurance are a must.
And again, the American Robert Oberst seeking his 3rd trip to the World's Strongest Man final against Adam Bishop of Great Britain, seeking his 1st trip to the final, and this is 4th appearance at World's Strongest Man.
The American Robert Oberst preparing to take on Bishop in Last Man Standing. Let's learn a bit more about him in our Tachi Palace Power Profile.
Don't change the dial. American Monster's up next. I'm ready to line it up. The trucks are heavy this year. We're pulling 2 monster trucks. It's gonna hurt a lot of guys. But this is World's Strongest Man, so you come to bang, come to bang. If you can't pick it up, then go home.
Oberst from the USA and Ståhlberg of Great Britain. It's a winner-take-all Atlas Stone showdown.
I hadn't been in the finals since my 1st year. Depending on who you asked, I was a flash in the pan, or I just wasn't dedicated enough, or I was made out of glass. I knew in my heart that I was one of the strongest men in the world, and I had to prove it. Going into those stones, when we lined up, I was on another planet. We were staring each other down, and I told him, I'm glad your wife is gonna see me beat you. I said that because I wanted to see in his eyes what he had. And he didn't have anything. I knew at that moment that he thought he was gonna lose, which meant he was gonna lose. When I put that last stone up and I saw that he was still struggling with that stone, it was like pulling a 20-pound monkey off my back. I knew what it meant to me. I knew it couldn't have meant that to him. Facts are facts. I'm one of the strongest men to ever walk the earth. And you can't debate that anymore.
Meet me at the top.
You got Adam Bishop from England.
The plucky Brit.
So it's strike 1 against him, obviously. He's been at this game for a long time, and he's actually a strength coach for technical sound lifting. Bish is the guy to watch. As poetic as it would be for me to line up with Bishop and do the Stones, another England versus America showdown, I'm still hoping I don't have to do them. But if we get there, then it'll be number 2 for USA.
Heavy drama with a spot in the final on the line.
Now, in this head-to-head competition, which is just some sort of barbaric, cruel game of hot potato, Bishop's at a disadvantage because he has to start first, but he's also only 6'3" tall, 4 inches shorter than Oberst, who effectively is lifting this 400-pound stone over a shorter bar compared to his physiology.
Oberst laboring already on his first rep and taking a look at that right bicep already.
What Bishop does have going for him, though, is that he is a technician. Oberst even acknowledged that. But OB, looking at that right bicep, injuries have been a problem for him in the past. Is that going to be a factor again here today?
Wow, is he tapping out here? Aaron, this is a huge development. Oberst checks out, unable to go on. This is quite frankly stunning, and it's an upset, but it's also part of this sport. And obviously there's concern from his fellow competitor, but the bottom line, Adam Bishop, without expending much energy here in this head-to-head event, has advanced to the World's Strongest Man final.
And it's his first World's Strongest Man final. And he is fired up for good reason. Unfortunately for the American, Robert Oberst, who's so well liked by everybody here, injuries once again gonna keep him from being at his best and moving forward.
Let's listen in here to Oberst and his camp.
Grabbing it the second time was stupid.
When you went to pop like that?
The first pop, I felt it go, and then I shouldn't have grabbed the stone again, but I was like, maybe it'll be all right.
Yeah.
It was gone.
Meantime, Jenny's with the winner.
All right, Adam, explain what you saw from your perspective over there.
Yeah, so I felt really good going into this with the stones, and I know Robert's a great stone lifter as well, so I knew I had to be on my game. Threw the first one over, and I saw he struggled with that second one, and unfortunately picked up an injury, and you don't want to see that. You want to obviously don't want the other athletes get injured, and that's kind of one of the reasons you go through. But I knew I was good on stones, and he's been struggling a little while, so yeah, I hope he makes a swift recovery. But I'm so stoked to be in the final.
You are in your first World's Strongest Man final. What does that mean to you?
It means absolutely everything. It was kind of third time lucky on the stones. 2016 I just missed out by 1.5 points. 2018 I lost to Els in the stone off. So third time lucky for me, and I've managed to get to the final.
What do you think about the final events?
Yeah, they're pretty good. No deadlift, which I'm a little bit gutted about, as you can probably tell. But yeah, the other movement events are good. So at least I didn't have to exert too much energy there, so I'm still quite fresh.
Thank you so much, and congratulations on your first World Strongman final.
Thank you so much.
So Janashia and Bishop take Group 2 spots of the final. Bishop becomes the second Brit to punch his ticket into the World's Strongest Man final. Oberst's injury prevents him from a shot at glory. Next time on the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, it's Group 3's turn, and the competitors have a tough road ahead of them. USA's Martin Lietzies will draw his energy from the crowd, while Tom Stoltman of Great Britain and the others plan to push themselves to the limit. For Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell, and our entire CBS crew, I'm Brent Stover in association with Endeavor Content. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.